Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing If, written and directed by John Krasinski and starring Cailey Fleming, Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, Fiona Shaw, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Gossett Jr., and Steve Carell. So the film focuses on Bede, played by Cailey Fleming, who's living in New York while her father, played by John Krasinski, is in the hospital for, quote, a simple surgery. Like, that's literally all the information it gives. It never explains why he has to be in the hospital, because he seems otherwise pretty gosh darn healthy, but for some reason, as ordained by the script, he must remain in the hospital. Probably so that John Krasinski has an easier time co-directing and acting in this movie, but that's a whole other issue. Anyway, being a bit traumatized by losing her mother at such a young age to a cancer, as implied by the headscarf every cancer patient seems contractually obligated to wear in movies, Bee finds a comforting distraction in helping imaginary friends, or ifs as they are called in the movie, find a new home. She will engage on this quest alongside her neighbor Cal, played by Ryan Reynolds, and along the way she will reconnect with, her lost childhood joy. So the writing is uneven and only sporadically funny. Again, this film is not aggressively unfunny. I'd say every time a joke happens, it's like, okay, and you expected me to laugh? But again, it's not painful, just confusing and not very funny. The film does have a few decent zingers every now and then, most of which are delivered by Reynolds. And on that note, the film, it's rather heavy-handed in its approach to its themes and storytelling. Much like the ifs themselves, the film is desperate to induce awe and wonder in its audience, so much so that it practically renders its main protagonist's emotional arc practically emotionally moot. Just trying to psychoanalyze, it's very ultra basic psychology 101 with regards to our main protagonist. And there's one plot twist that this film acts like is so revolutionary, but really you will see it coming from miles away. Aren't I so smart for predicting a children's movie's plot? But yeah, to that end, again, I wouldn't mind it so much if, the performances were good and, so a lot of the performances are kind of mixed in quality. Cailey Fleming, she is, again, she's not the worst child performer I've ever witnessed on the silver screen, but she's not that great either. Again, I don't want to rag too much on, she is a kid after all, but it's just not that good. She feels restrained by the cliched material, and she just, I don't know, she feels very limited to a very small number of facial expressions. Ryan Reynolds, he's okay as Cal, the grumpy neighbor helping out. Although I will say this, he does get, like I mentioned earlier, he does have some pretty quality zingers, especially when he's admonishing Blue, played by Steve Carell. And as for Blue, a purple monster, he was named Blue because his kid was colorblind. He's alright. He kind of oscillates between being really annoying and being kind of lovable. There are certain moments where he's trying to be funny, and it's like, okay, yeah, alright, no, you're not being funny, move on. And then there are other moments, especially during the moment where he's trying to find a new kid to, be an imaginary friend to, and it's kind of touching. Gossett Jr., he brings gravitas and elderly charm to the role of a sentient teddy bear if. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she's fun. She gives a good performance as Blossom and a ballerina if. All the other ifs are okay. The only thing really noteworthy about them, aside from their visual design, is that they're voiced by A-list actors. And again, it's not as cringeworthy as you might expect. It's they weren't entirely cast based off of, okay, how can we promote this movie? All right, let's see what A-list actors we got on our Rolodex. No, you can tell that they wanted them to give like something resembling a performance, to which I say, good on the movie, but they barely get enough screen time to make a lasting impression on the audience. So one of the better parts of the movie is the visual effects. The visuals used to bring the ifs to life are creative and well realized in design. Every if feels very distinct and well tailored to the environment. Like I never, saw a human character standing next to an if and thinking, that if is not there in real life, that is a digital creation. No, the characters are well done, and despite leaning into a more cartoonish design, they still look good in design. It's sort of like the Detective Pikachu route to CGI, which very good. And the film does utilize CGI during the memory lane retirement home sequence to great effect to visualize B's imagination, though it perhaps does go on a bit too long. So, though it's not without its moments, a heavy-handed approach keeps If from being the true ode to imagination that it clearly aspires to be. So, with all that in mind, I will be giving If 2.5 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what is your favorite movie about imaginary friends and why?